Hey everybody, Austin here again with a Let's Play video. Today we're going to be going through Mickey Mousecapade for the Nintendo Entertainment System. This is kind of an interesting one. This is one that gets a lot of flack and has for quite a long time here on the internet. However, I actually used to play this a lot as a kid. We fired it up recently on a live stream here on YouTube, and we ended up finishing it, and I was like, oh, that was actually pretty fun. And I've since gone through it probably 3 or 4 times, trying to just kind of perfect the run as much as you can on this game. There is a little bit of jank, and some parts are kind of a crapshoot whether you succeed or not, but the game, to me, it actually used to be really confusing, but it turns out it's actually pretty straightforward. You do have a lot of kind of like open-ended levels, but you just kind of go from point A to point B. There's not a lot of like backtracking and traverse and like random traversal and stuff like that. And so the game's actually, once you know what you're doing, I think it's actually kind of a breezy little ride, and it's not bad, actually. So better, I think, than people give it credit for, anyway. It's not nearly as good as your typical, later era Capcom Disney games, like, DuckTales and Chip and Dale and things like that, but it's still a fun little game, and, yeah, so we're going to go ahead and go through the whole thing. There's only 5 stages in this game. If you want to try to learn how to play this game, you can just watch this playthrough, and you can just try to copy what I do and listen to what I say, and you should be able to get through it yourself without too much trouble. There are a couple of mechanics I'll touch on as we play through this. But for the most part, the game is actually quite straightforward. There's not a lot of different power-ups and stuff like that. It's mostly just get to either the end of the level or grab a key and find a door and then get to the end of the level, depending on the level that you're on. And again, there's only 5 levels, so there's not a whole lot of variation in this game. So, but yeah, let's go ahead and hit that start button and just jump right into it. And yeah, first level is the Funhouse. Every level gets introduced just like this. So Mickey and Minnie go to their destination, and then we basically start off. So in the very beginning of the game, we don't have any attacks. We have to actually get our first attack, which is a few rooms in. This door right here says key. We have to get a main master key for that to open it up. Now, one thing that's really interesting about this game, Minnie actually cannot take damage. Enemies just go straight through her, just like that. Whereas if I get hit by them with Mickey, my health bar in the top middle will deplete a little bit. So you can actually use Minnie to do some really cool things later on in the game. I'll try to show that stuff off. So we got ourselves a star. This is a projectile, and your first star that you get is the star projectile for Mickey. Now, you can shoot some of these like candelabras and candle fixtures, and they'll reveal health pickups and stuff like that sometimes. The health pickups come in the form of cakes and diamonds. The diamonds give you a lot of health back, the cakes only give you a couple of hit points. But yeah, health refills are pretty generous in this game. I'm gonna kill these enemies. There's also, you'll notice, a little icon in the back there behind that window. So I'm gonna shoot it to open it up, which reveals a extra life. So now we have 5 lives. And there's another cake. Let's just wait and get next to this guy. And there's our first key. That's going to open up that door behind that mini-boss, that cat that's shooting projectiles. So there are some hidden power-ups in this game. If you just shoot around the playfield, you'll notice that your stars will disappear and it'll make a sound. If you do that, occasionally what will happen is this character will come out and make you invincible. However, there are other characters that will steal Minnie and take her away. And that's bad. And when that happens, you have to have Minnie in order to get to the end of the level. So you have to find more secret rooms in order to get Minnie back so you can continue your journey. So I just want to try to hit that guy in the head, just like so. So let's try this, see what happens here. Another diamond. A lot of times when you get hidden, hidden spots where you've got boss fights, typically they're health refills. I don't know if it's guaranteed, but oftentimes, more often than not, that I've seen, like, you get like a health diamond back. So this is going to be our second treasure chest coming up in this next room. Interestingly, with these spiders, by the way, you can only actually damage them when they're in motion. If they're just sitting up, perched high up, they won't actually take any damage. So like right here, I can shoot them all I want and nothing happens, despite it making noise that I'm doing damage. I'm not actually doing damage. And that goes for certain boss fights as well, particularly on stage 3. Now this chest right here is really interesting. So you notice I got another star, which allows Minnie to shoot. However, sometimes that chest is actually a bad guy. He comes out, hurts you, you have to kill him. You really, really want to get the star, however. So what you can do is go off the screen like this, and then go back, and then the chest will reappear, assuming you haven't gotten it already. You haven't gotten the star already, I should say. So the chest will constantly reappear until the star appears, which is nice. Definitely have the star before going into the next level, because if you don't, then you actually, I don't think you can get the upgrade again for the rest of the playthrough. So, now you'll notice that these chandeliers, they're actually different colors. So this one is actually a lighter color than the one that we just saw. The lighter color one will fall. The darker color one right here does not fall. So, pretty easy to know whether it's going to fall or not. And this should be our boss room. Now there's a really fun little trick you can do. You'll notice that Minnie just kind of like follows Mickey's motions. She just kind of like mimics what he does. Well, you can actually get up on the ladder and then kind of fall off and get Minnie up top, and then Minnie can just attack the boss in complete safety like this. We're going to use this, I think, at least twice over the course of this playthrough. So that's how you can beat the boss fights, some of the boss fights, much easier and safer. Alright, so that's the main master key. So now we have to go back to the very beginning. But you'll notice, like, the trek to the boss here, to get that main master key, it was very straightforward. There wasn't really anything special going on. And I went ahead and just used Minnie while Mickey was down below. But yeah, the levels are actually quite straightforward, despite having different pathways. Just when you see a path that you can go to, like a split, just take the split. Chances are that's where you have to go anyway. And then just do that every time you see a split, and then you'll get all the items you need, and then just keep pushing forward. You'll get to a boss fight, and then you just work your way back. It's really simple stuff. It is not as complicated as I think a lot of people make it out to be. At this game's core, it is kind of a simple action game. You know, especially once you get your star. Let's see what this is. Oh, another diamond. Might as well grab it. That was a health diamond, I believe. But I guess I'm maxed out on health already. I'm going to come in here just to avoid that enemy. That is one nice thing, is you can literally just go off screen, and it just respawns enemies. So if there's an enemy like right on top of you, right about to hit you, you can just go off screen, and then they'll basically reset. Alright, coming back down. And we go through this door, and then this is the end of the level. And that's it for level 1. 4 more to go. To the ocean. So the ocean is a very basic, just action-oriented level. It only takes like 2 minutes to go through. Like I said, this game is actually quite short, and these action stages in particular are very, very short. Now, a lot of times there is a hidden fairy, which will make us invincible. So far, I haven't seen it trigger. Let's see if this will be it. Nope. That's a diamond, health refill. Yeah, on my last practice run of this, a fairy appeared. I was able to use that. So this is our boss fight. We want to just kind of stay on the ground and just kind of pummel him with our projectiles. You can try to dodge stuff if you want, but you'll notice that these projectiles are very, like, chaotic. So if you have a lot of health, you can just tank hits, and as long as you've got your extra star power from Minnie, you can just sit on the ground and you'll shoot 3 to 4 projectiles at once, which is nice. To the woods, level 3. So the woods is actually a maze, and if you don't go the right way, you get kicked back to the very beginning. And the trick for the first 3 sections is to take the second door. And then on the 4th section, you have to go through the entire course, get to the start sign, and then find a hidden tree, or a hidden doorway through a tree. Is that number 2? I think it is, yes. I wasn't counting. I always lose count on this. So now one interesting thing about Minnie I wanted to touch on is that if you don't do jumps just perfectly, she won't actually make the gap. And if Minnie dies through an endless pit, then everybody dies. You lose a life. So this should be door number 2. Alright. Section number 3. You've got these big bears. And these guys can actually do a lot of damage if you touch them. So you want to kind of stay farther back. Use your long-range projectile. So yeah, we have to go through door number 2 here as well. However, door number 2 is actually a hidden door. So there's door number 1. And this is door number 2 right here. Go through that. And now we're on our last section. Well, second to last section, I should say. Because there is another section after this. Alright, more invincibility. Very much like Adventure Island, you can actually, when you're invincible, just run straight through enemies like this. And funny enough, I found out through my live stream, and people on my live stream telling me that apparently Hudson Soft actually developed this game in Japan, which is quite interesting. I always thought this was Capcom growing up because Capcom's name is on it in North America. They published it. But Hudson actually made it, so there are actually some similarities in this to Hudson titles. And there we go. So this is just a very straightforward action section. And at the end is a boss fight. Now, probably the most annoying parts of this game are the boss fights themselves. They can be pretty unfair, especially the boss coming up here. Extra life. Also, one thing about the boss fights I figured out is that you actually die instantly if you touch the bosses themselves, so that can be a little difficult, especially on this boss where he can actually end up cornering you. Alright, so what we want to do is go for his head. That is the only part that does damage. And there he goes. Yeah, very, very dangerous boss. But yeah, the thing is that it's misleading because you can actually hit his tail, or his main body, but it actually doesn't do any damage despite actually making the regular attack sound. Alright, so this is a very, very short level. I'm gonna go ahead and just take our time with this guy. And it's not letting me jump for some reason. Anyway, that's fine. Now, I haven't really figured out how to get past some of these parts without taking damage. Like, those pirates, the lanky pirates, just feel extremely erratic. Oh, and I ran into him, which kills me instantly. Wow, that was a really bad mistake. That's fine. That was actually the second to last room in this level. It's an insanely short level. I'm actually really surprised it's as short as it is. Try this again without running into him. So jumping over his projectiles worked, but it also felt very risky. Alright, so boss fight. We're going to try to get Minnie up top and let her do all the work. There we go. I love this trick. It's so cool. A lot of people complain that Minnie is following you at all times, but man, she is very, very useful if you figure out how to get her to try to mimic some of your patterns a very specific way. Alright, so this is our last level. This is like the very first level. Again, like I said, if you see a split, just kind of take it. Although on this one, I guess technically there's 2 splits. We're going to take the top one. And then that'll take us basically to where we need to go. Now, one interesting thing about this game is the way Minnie follows you. She kind of... I won't say she has a mind of her own, if she's just like walking behind you. If you want her to be more accurate, though, you jump. when she jumps almost about the same time you do. So that's a way for her to travel behind you a little more accurately. Otherwise, having her just try to follow you around these weird platforms can be a little cumbersome. Get rid of this pink thing. This guy that goes up and down, I don't even think you can kill those guys. I've tried, and I've never actually gotten rid of any of them. So in this part, I can just leave Minnie down below. She doesn't have to follow me. I'd actually kind of rather her be down there, so it's easier to get back after I grab this key. Yep, that's our key. And now we're going to just go back. Very simple stuff. You know, it's maze-like, but it's also not very complicated. Now, the boss of the previous level is Pete, and we actually have to fight him again on this level. However, you can't really cheese him with Minnie like you could on the previous level. This is also a little mini boss right here. I don't know if you actually have to kill this guy, but I do it anyway. Let's go ahead and open this, see what happens. Whoa, nope, sorry. Yeah, so that guy will actually go grab Minnie and take her away. And if you fly off the screen, or sorry, if you walk off the screen before he takes her off the screen, you can actually just cancel the whole thing, which is nice. I'm actually kind of doing this to see if, you know, the fairy will appear. Oh, diamond, even better. I was kind of hoping for my health back. Alright, good stuff. Let's come in here first. So this right here, you can actually just kind of grind out for cake to get your health back. You'll notice that these window panels, they just respawn. And cake also respawns. So you can use that to try to get your health back as well. Like I said, there's a lot of stuff in this game that, like, I don't know, people just really trash this game, but there's a lot of rhythm and rhyme to it, actually. That people, I guess, just don't give it credit for these days. Now, those daggers, they actually go upwards and downwards as well. I'm actually really surprised that none of them really did that. So I got really lucky on that fight. Now, apparently, if you get, and this came from a Game FAQ's walkthrough, apparently if you get a fairy and you walk back through this door, Pete is there again. And if you don't have the fairy, you'll die instantly. But if you do have the fairy, you'll kill him instantly, and you'll get a crap ton of points. Diamond. I was hoping for a fairy. Alright, so this is our next mini-boss. Just gonna kind of get up in his face and do that. So that diamond right there actually cleared out all of the enemies on screen. Alright, so this is our last boss. This is the Queen. And there's actually a really cool trick you can do here. You do have invincibility frames when you take damage, and so this is also something I learned from the Game FAQ's walkthrough, is you can use the iframes to get through the boss and then just sit here, and then you can turn over to the left and just hit her from behind, like this. Otherwise, what you would do is you would sit farther back and you would just kind of time your jumps. But the density of the projectiles is it's quite dense, actually. It's a little difficult to you know time your jump between the gaps between projectiles, and so you know, using that little trick is pretty cool. So we went from live streaming this recently to me playing it a few times and looking up a walkthrough and figuring out some other stuff to be able to share with you guys here. So Yeah, some pretty cool little tricks there and tips. Glad I've learned them, and I'm glad I've actually learned how to get through this game again. I actually enjoy this game. I think it's pretty fun. It's not like super complex. It's not super long. I mean, this video itself is barely over 20 minutes long, so like that's a very short playthrough when you know what you're doing. I see where people can get confused and intimidated by the game, but really when you learn it, it's actually a very straightforward game that is honestly not that difficult. So yeah, if you haven't played this in a long time, maybe played it as a kid and, you know, you liked it back then, but it's been a while and you're kind of scared to go back to it because of all the internet negative hype, you know, give it another try, you know, go back, give it a shot. Graphics actually aren't that bad. I mean, for when this game came out, 88, it's got some decent, details and stuff like that, you know, like with the shading on a lot of the objects and stuff like that, and there's a lot of different colors. You know, like on this first level, you know, your first section is green, then it goes to blue, and then it transitions into like red or something like that. So like, it lets you know you're in a different spot. Otherwise, things could start to seem like very samey and confusing. But no, I think it's actually a solid little game, and I think it gets deserves a little more credit than it usually gets these days. It's not the most amazing thing ever, but it's also not like the complete garbage that everyone makes it out to be these days. So go give it another shot if you're bored one day, and you know, and if you're trying to actually get through the game, just use the tips I just showed you, and you know, you should be able to get through this just fine. Also, don't do what the AI just did there. Just make sure if you're Mickey, you're jumping on the far edge of the platform and continuing to hold right. If you stop holding right, like I think Minnie will just drop dead, basically. So, and there's some very basic things to stay alive in this game. It's not too bad to get through though. So, but yeah, that's gonna do it for me, guys. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for watching. If you're new to my channel, consider subscribing. I got a ton of Let's Plays on my channel and also live stream walkthroughs and stuff like that. You can go back through and check out. I'll be having more walkthroughs like this sometime in the near future, so stay tuned for those. Probably mostly NES focused for the near future, but yeah, stay tuned. So yeah, guys, that's going to do it for me. I guess until the next one, take it easy.